أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us a chance to acquire knowledge of Deen. The example of knowledge of Deen is like a food for the body. Our body needs food all the time. Allah has made our body such that we need to eat and drink regularly. If we eat and drink regularly, our body will stay in good condition, healthy, and we will be able to carry out our duties with ease and comfort. Exactly, this is a state of knowledge for the heart. The food is for the body. If somebody stops eating for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then he will see the effect of that upon him. He will become weak, he will become ill, and eventually if he will not eat, he will die. So exactly same effect we have of the knowledge on the heart. Knowledge is the food, nourishment of the heart. If the heart achieves this nourishment, knowledge, then it stays fresh, it stays healthy, it stays in good condition. And if the heart does not acquire nourishment of ilm, then slowly and gradually it dies away. And the dying of the heart is the person is all in state of anxiety. Usually we see people complaining. If you ask him, how are you? Very well, fine. I'm very in a good condition. But if he starts to tell his inner story, the last thing he will say, I'm very pareshan. You ask him, why are you pareshan? You don't have food to eat? What will he say? Ample. You don't have clothes to wear? You don't have house to live in? You don't have car to drive? In answer to this, I say, I have everything in abundance, but I don't know. My heart is not at peace. My heart is not content. My heart is not satisfied. So exactly this type of person, he's got money, he's got gold, he's got everything, but he's hungry and there's no food. He's got a bag of gold with him, he's got a bundle of money with him, everything. Will that satisfy his hunger? No. He's in a state of hunger, he needs food, but there is no food around. So just like the food, that the hunger of the stomach will only be quenched and satisfied by food, exactly in the same way, the food of the heart, the nourishment of the heart, is only through the knowledge. The knowledge which is practical, not a general knowledge. Just like the food will become beneficial when it's eaten, when it's digested. Then it will turn into blood and energy of the body. If there is a food in front of him, there is a food in the house, in the kitchen, but he does not eat. His hunger will be quenched? His hunger will be satisfied? No. So the food is there, but it will only become beneficial when he will eat it. Exactly in the same way, the knowledge, it is in the mind, it is in the heart. But if it's not practiced, it's like the food in front of him, which is not eaten. So the food, knowledge to be very of benefit, and for the knowledge to be to satisfy the heart, it is a knowledge which is practiced upon. So this is a point usually emphasized all the time. The purpose of knowledge is practice. Somebody says, what's the purpose of food? Like, what answer will the person say? To eat. So it's something natural, you don't need to think. And the purpose of food is to eat. Exactly in the same way, what's the purpose of knowledge? The answer is to practice upon it. So the knowledge that is beneficial is that knowledge that is practical. And the person practice upon it. Just like the food is beneficial, it is eaten. It turns into blood, it turns into energy, strength of the body. Exactly the same way. So this is such a point Allah mentions over and over the Quran Sharif, and it's been emphasized. We should look upon acquiring knowledge is one act, and practicing is another act. Usually, for practicing, one needs to control his nafs. One needs to fight against his nafs. And a person is not prepared for that. So he has the knowledge, but simple, we are about to eat. So we know the sunnahs of eating, wash your both hands. He's passing through wuzu khana, he's passing through sink, but the nafs does not allow him. He does not allow him to go to the wuzu khana and wash his hands. We sit down on the dastakhan without washing his hands. He has the knowledge, sunnah to wash the hands, and this applies in everything. So that knowledge has gone to waste. The knowledge which is practical, that is the beneficial knowledge. So this is a topic of the students of Deen. Allah has given us tawfiq to come to madrasa, to acquire knowledge of Quran Sharif, Hadith Sharif, and knowledge of Deen. So we should look into ourselves, and for practicing, one needs the control of the nafs. More the person has control over his nafs, more he will be able to practice upon the knowledge. And the less he has control over his nafs, the nafs and shaitan will overpower him. Even having knowledge, he will not be able to practice on that knowledge. So this topic is upon not ilm, but practicing upon the knowledge. We can look into ourselves, our 24-hour life. We have knowledge, how to get up, how to go to toilet, how to make wuzu, how to clothe ourselves, etc., how to eat. So the knowledge is there. But is that knowledge practical? Is that knowledge beneficial or not? We should look into our practice. If that knowledge is practiced upon, his actions are according to that knowledge is beneficial. And if you act against the knowledge, he does not practice upon the knowledge, that knowledge has gone to waste. Just like a food is in front of him, he does not eat, food will go to waste. So this topic is particularly regarding practicing on the knowledge the person has. Acquiring knowledge is one duty, and practicing upon that knowledge is another duty, another responsibility. And for that, one needs the control of the nafs. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum. Get control over your nafs. So to act on the deen, that is the root of it. One has to go against the nafs. Just like enemy, person is always alert and he just look out against the enemy. So if we treat our nafs in the same way, then we have control over nafs, and we will be able to fight against the nafs. And if we give in to the nafs, whatever the nafs wants, we do it straight away, then the person will become more and more slave of the nafs, the desires of the nafs, the knowledge will become useless. हक़ ताला फरमाते हैं मसलुल लज़ीना हुम्मिलु तौरात थुम्मा लम यहमिलूहा कमसलिल हिमार यहमिलु अस्फारा। उनकी मिसाल जिन पर तौरेत का बोझ डाला गया फिर वो उसके मुतहम्मिल न हुए, ऐसी है जैसे गधा उठाए हुए किताबों को। Allah Ta'ala says, the people are made responsible of Tawrat, meaning the ulamas of Tawrat, but they did not fulfill their responsibility. The responsibility of the alim are two. One is to practice on the knowledge he has, and secondly to propagate that knowledge to other people. So they were given Tawrat, they were blessed with the knowledge of Tawrat, but they did not fulfill the responsibility of practicing upon it and propagating the people. Allah says the examples like donkeys who have been laden with kitabs. Donkey, and you put a bundle of kitab on his back, that donkey is a sahib ilm, that donkey is a sahib kitab. Is that knowledge beneficial to that donkey? So the donkey is a sahib kitab. The same way, we have memorized Quran Sharif, we have knowledge of Quran Sharif, we have knowledge of Hadith, so he is a sahib ilm. The donkey is also sahib ilm, but that ilm is not beneficial to the donkey. In the same way, the person who does not fulfill the responsibility of knowledge is classified with a donkey, meaning that knowledge is useless for the donkey, in the same way this person who does not fulfill the right of the knowledge, he is classified as a donkey. He is like a donkey not benefiting from the knowledge. Yani jin lo, so Allah has message regarding those people. And we, Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah has made us Hafiz of Quran, Allah has made us Alim of Quran, Allah has made us Alim of Hadith, Masail. So we are Sahib Ilm, the people of Ilm. Now, whether we are counted as Alim in sight of Allah or not, it depends on our practicing. यानी जिन लोगों को तौरात का इल्म अता हुआ फिर उन्होंने उस पर अमल नहीं किया, उनकी मिसाल ऐसी है जैसे गधा जो बड़ी बड़ी किताबों का बोझ लादे हुए हो कि उसको लेकर चलता है, मगर सिवाय इस ताब मशक्क़त के जो उसके पहलुओं और पृष्ठों पर गुजर रही है और कुछ उसको खबर नहीं है कि किताबों में क्या लिखा है. Explained that those people who have been given knowledge of Torah, and in our case knowledge of Quran Sharif, but they do not practice upon it. The example is like a donkey whose back a lot of kitabs have been put upon it. He does not know what's in the kitab. He does not benefit from the kitab. He cannot practice on the kitab. So that is our same example. That if we do not know what's in the kitab, we do not practice upon the kitab, in our case Quran Sharif, then that person is classified with a donkey. The donkey is not benefiting from these kitabs. This alim is also not benefiting from these kitabs in the form of practice. ये मिसाल उस पर भी चस्पा है जिसने कुरान के मानी को समझा नहीं और न उस पर अमल किया. So Quran is directly mentioned regarding the ulama of the Yahud, but it applies to us also, who has a knowledge of Quran, he's Hafiz of Quran, he's Alim of Quran, but he does not fulfill the responsibility of practice upon the Quran. He also comes under this category. और ऐसा एराज किया जैसे किसी को कुरान की हाजत ही न हो. And he turned away from Quran Sharif because he does not need Quran Sharif. और इसीलिए मैमून बिन मेहरान कहते हैं कि ए अहले कुरान, इत्तिबा करो कुरान का इससे पहले कि वो तुम्हारा पीछा करे. उसके बाद ये आयत पढ़ी. मैमून मेहरान, the great ulama, he says, O people of Quran, meaning Ummah of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, follow the Quran. इससे पहले the Quran Sharif follows you, meaning on the day of Qiyamah. The Quran Sharif complains to Allah Ta'ala, Ya Rabbi, inna qawmi ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. My ummah, it left the Quran. So before that time comes, on the day of Qiyamah, that Quran Sharif, it follows us, meaning he's behind us and complaining to Allah Ta'ala that you gave me to these people, but they did not value it, they did not learn it, they did not practice upon it. Before that time comes, meaning while in this world, we learn the Quran Sharif, we practice upon it, so Quran Sharif is in our favor and not against us. इल्म एक मुफीद चीज़ है, मगर इंसान जब सख्त दिल और नापाक नफ्स और गंदी तबीयत वाला होता है तो इल्म की तहसील उसको मुतलक मुफीद नहीं होती. Ilm is a beneficial matter. It's like food is a beneficial matter. But if somebody's stomach is bad, somebody's health is bad, then he won't benefit from the food. He won't be able to eat the food. In the same way, that the place of knowledge is the heart, the place of food is the stomach, and the place of knowledge is the heart. If the heart is hard and is impure, is filled with lowly desires and passion and lust, then first their knowledge will not enter into such a heart, like a cup. You want to put milk in a cup, but if the cup is filthy, dirty, you will not put milk in it, it will go to waste. Exactly in the same way, if the heart is dirty with passion, lust, sins, then the knowledge of Deen, knowledge of Quran will not enter into that heart. कि वो खुद उससे मुंतफा और उसकी रोशनी में चलता नहीं, that he himself, he does not benefit from that knowledge. बस उसकी मिसाल उस गधे की सी हुई जो किताबों का बोझ लादता है मगर अकल न होने की वजह से उसके मज़ामीन से नफ़ा नहीं उठा सकता. So example of that person who has knowledge of Deen, who has knowledge of Quran, who has knowledge of Hadith, but he's example like a donkey on whose back there are a lot of kitabs, but he cannot acquire benefit from the kitabs. So this alim who has Quran Sharif in his heart, who has Hadith Sharif in his heart, but he's not benefiting from that knowledge is going to waste. उसकी मिसाल ऐसी हुई जैसे कि वो ज़मीन जिस पर पानी न ठहरे कि लोग पानी से नफ़ा उठाएं. What is another example? It's like that a flat surface, like our solid roads. When it rains and there is a little slope, the water does not stop. It flows away. So that water is no benefit to anyone. No one can drink it, no one can give it to his animals, and no one can use it for farming. That water goes to waste. In the same way, and there is no ability in the heart, the knowledge which the person acquired is like that solid land, the water flows away and goes to waste. This person's knowledge also goes to waste. कि लोग पानी से नफ़ा उठाएं और न घास या सब्जा उगता है कि खुद ही नफ़ा उठावे. So like our roads, the water does not stop, nobody can benefit from it, and nothing grows on that also because the water does not stay. Sahihain में, Bukhari Muslim में, the purpose of this bayan is to make us alert, make us concerned, look upon ourselves, how much knowledge I have, and how much am I practicing upon it, and how much my practice is against the knowledge I have. Sahihain Abu Musa radiyallahu anhu से रिवायत है कि रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम फरमाया कि मेरे हाथ जो इल्म व हिदायत अल्लाह ताला ने भेजा है उसकी मिसाल ऐसी है जैसे बहुत बारिश ये ज़मीन पर बरसी. Rasulullah explained in a very simple way to make us realize and reflect upon ourselves. What am I doing with the knowledge? Am I benefiting? Am I imparting benefit to other people? Or I'm wasting myself and I'm wasting my knowledge? So Rasulullah said, the example of what Allah has given to him, in the knowledge of Deen, the Hidayat, is like a rain which came upon a piece of land. And it rains, the rain does not see that where it should rain. It rains on a solid land, it rains on a mountain, it rains on a fertile land. So it rains everywhere. कि जैसे बहुत सी बारिश के ज़मीन पर बरसी, the example of knowledge Allah gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah spread it to us, is like abundance of rain coming down. Now, the water which came upon the land is of different type. पर ज़मीन का एक हिस्सा तो उम्दा था कि उसने पानी को कबूल किया और कसरत से घास सब्जा उगाया. So one part of the land was a good land, fertile land. It accepted the water seeped down into the ground, and the plantation, vegetation, it grew from that land, from the water. और बाज़ हिस्सा ज़मीन का नाकाबिले काश था कि सिर्फ पानी रोक लिया और तालाब बन गया. Another part where the rain came down, it was a solid land, but it had a slope in it, so it stored the water stored like our reservoirs, like the ponds. The reservoirs and ponds, they're in a solid land, so the water does not go down, nothing will go there, but it has a slope around it, so the water is stocked, water is stored, and water stays there. although nothing grew from that land, but the people benefited from that water, like we benefit from the ponds and reservoirs. The water is piped to our home and we drink it, use it, and the water is used for farming, irrigation, given to the animals. So that water also became beneficial. बस अल्लाह ताला से लोगों को नफ़ा पहुँचाया कि उन्होंने पिया और जानवरों को पिलाया और उसको खेतों में डालकर खेती की. So although the land, nothing grew from that land because it's solid land, but it stocked the water, people benefited and people gave the water to the animals to drink, and they took the water in the farms and they irrigated. So that water also became beneficial. और एक तीसरे हिस्से ज़मीन पर वो बारिश बरसी जो बिल्कुल चटियल मैदान है कि न पानी को रोकता है और न घास का पत्ता उगाता है. The same rain water came down on another piece of land. It's a solid flat surface like our roads. So it does not stop the water, water does not seep down, it does not go down, and it does not stop the water spills away, the water flows away like on our road. So that water goes to waste. That land does not benefit, other people also not benefit from that water. बस ये मिसाल उस शख्स की जो दीन इलाही का आलिम बनता है और उसको नफ़ा देता है, वो शय जो मेरे हाथ अल्लाह ने भेजी है. So in this simple way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained to us, and we are students of deen, we are students of knowledge of deen, we can look upon ourselves. Out of these type of people, in which category do I fall? The first one, he gave the knowledge, he put the knowledge in his heart, and his aqaid, his akhlaq, his amal, his habits that became according to knowledge. So that's like plantation, vegetation coming out of the land. So that is the person who benefited most, that he made himself according to that. That is the purpose of knowledge, that we make our practices according to that knowledge. So that's the most benefiting person who made his way of life, his actions and his practices. He performs salat according to knowledge, he makes wuzu according to knowledge, he eats according to knowledge, he wears clothes according to knowledge, he walks outside a house according to knowledge. So that person benefited most. The second person who gave place to knowledge in his heart, he became alim of Quran, he became alim of Hadith. Although he did not benefit much practically, but he stored the knowledge, and he imparted that knowledge to other people. He taught Quran Sharif to other people, he taught the meaning of Quran Sharif to other people, he taught the Hadith. So that is also beneficial, that he did not benefit much himself, but he imparted the benefit to other people. So that's the second person. और उसकी मिसाल जो उसकी तरफ सर ही नहीं उठाया. The third piece of land, the rain came down upon it, but it did not go down, nothing grew from that land, and it did not store and stock the water all spilled away, and after in this few minutes time, it became just as it was before. So that is a person who had a chance to acquire knowledge of deen. He had a chance to come to madrasa, learn Quran and Hadith, but he heard from one ear and took it out from the other ear. It did not go into his heart. He did not benefit himself. He did not use that knowledge for benefiting other people also. So people, students, they're divided into three categories. We can reflect upon ourselves. Out of these three types of people, in which category do I fall? कि न उस हिदायत को कबूल करता है जो मेरे जरिए भेजी गई. So this example, the third person, that he did not benefit himself, he did not impart benefit of that knowledge to other people, he wasted the knowledge, he wasted the opportunity and the chance. या उसकी मिसाल ऐसी है जैसे खजाना जिसमें से अल्लाह के रास्ते में कुछ भी खर्च न किया जाए. Rasulullah, another example of knowledge is like a treasure. The purpose of wealth is to fulfill the rights of people. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ. People ask you that what should they spend? قُلْ مَا أَنْفَقْتُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. Allah says, whatever wealth you have, you spend it upon your parents, your relatives, yatama, masakin. So these are the places to use our wealth. So Allah has given wealth to someone, but he does not use it wisely. He does not use to fulfill the rights. That wealth is being wasted. He may be using it to fulfill his lust and desire, passion, and enjoy himself, but that is not making the wealth useful. It is wasting of that wealth. So another example Rasulullah gave of a person who has knowledge, but he does not benefit himself, he does not benefit other people. It's like a treasure which is not used in fulfilling the rights. Purpose of treasure, wealth, is not to fulfill desires and enjoy oneself, is to fulfill the rights of appropriate people. Allah's right, giving zakat, performing hajj, and fulfilling people's rights, parents, etc. So, if a person is not practicing upon the knowledge, he is not imparting the benefit of knowledge for the people, he is wasting himself, he is wasting that knowledge. इमाम अहमद और दारमी ने हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ी अल्लाह से रिवायत की है कि रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, उस इल्म की मिसाल जिससे नफ़ा न उठाया जाए ऐसी है जैसे वो ख़जाना जिससे अल्लाह के रास्ते में खर्च न किया जाए. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the example of that knowledge which is not imparting benefit to other people is like a treasure and wealth which is not used in the path of Allah Ta'ala, meaning fulfilling the rights. That he may be using it for himself. He's building a luxurious house, he's buying a very expensive car, but that is not in the path of Allah Ta'ala. It is not means of acquiring sawab. That's a waste of the treasure. The purpose of treasure and wealth is to fulfill the rights, appropriate rights, which Allah shows in the Quran Sharif. Our parents, relatives, and yatim, orphans, and poor people, these are the masarif of spending this money. या उसकी मिसाल ऐसी है जैसे कुत्ता कि अगर उस पर हमला करो तब वो ज़बान लटकाए और यूं ही छोड़े रखो तब भी वो ज़बान लटकाए. It's the habit of a dog, especially in hot countries, that because of the heat, it keeps his mouth open and its tongue is outside the mouth. So if you show it a stick, it will still it will do like that. If you don't show it a stick, meaning the person who has knowledge but he does not practice, there is no difference between him and the person who does not have knowledge. क्योंकि उसकी फितरत ही में ज़बान लटकाना दाखिल, this is nature of a dog, that it keeps his mouth open and it keeps his tongue out of the mouth. In the same way, a person's nature is not good, whether he acquires knowledge or not, it won't help him, he won't benefit from it. So the person who is not acquiring benefit from the knowledge, so either he has a bad heart, the heart is not accepting the knowledge. It's like a sponge. The nature of a sponge is to soak up the water, but you put a clean film on a sponge and now you pour water upon it, it won't accept the water will spill away. In the same way, it's a heart. If the heart does not have the ability, then what we hear, it will not go into the heart from one ear and it will come out from another. So that is a bad sign for the person. Sometimes the heart is good, but is overtaken by nafs, is overtaken by desire. So because of that, it's not benefiting. That person, he needs to fight against the nafs, go against the nafs, then that knowledge will become beneficial. तफसीर खाज़ी में लिखा है कि ये आयत सख्त तरीन आयत है इन उलमा के मुताबिक, जिनका मकसूद अपने इल्म से दुनिया और ख्वाहिशात नफ्सानिया है. Allah mentions in the Quran Sharif, الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا. Allah says to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, recite the verse of Quran Sharif regarding one person to whom Allah gave knowledge of deen, but he turned away from it and he turned towards the lowly world, lust and desire. The shaitan got behind him and make him astray. और उसकी वजह यह है कि उस शख्स को अल्लाह ताला ने खुसूसियत बख्शी थी. Person is mentioned in these verses, لَآتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا, that give our signs, meaning knowledge. So Allah has special favors upon him, but he did not care, he did not value. Even having knowledge, he turned towards his lowly desires, he started to follow the lowly desires. Shaitan showed the way, and nobody is empty from evil thoughts. But whether to act upon it or not is in our control. So you can't stop the thoughts, you can't stop the service. But if they come, one should not become worried, he should not act upon it. For example, students went for shopping today, so on the road, women and girls walking around, the nafs is tempted. The nafs is demanding, look at her, look at her, look at her. You can't stop that thought. But whether to look at a woman and a girl, that is in our control. So we keep our gaze low. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. He's passed his test. And he fell for it. He could not control his gaze. And he looked at her, he's failed his test. So this is the meaning. That we can't stop desires. We can't stop wasawis coming in the heart. But one should not act on the lowly desires which come. We passed our test. That is called mujahadah. But once these thoughts and these desires come, because usually we are subdued by our nafs, it is very, very difficult to control the eye and keep it low. Usually we fall for it, and we start to do what our nafs demands. You go in the store and there's music on, and the nafs says listen to the music. So you can't stop that thought of listening to the music, but to pay attention towards the music, turn the ears towards the music, that is in our control. So the person, he could not control himself and he started to listen intentionally, then he has failed his test and he has lost out against nafs and shaitan. And if he wants to control himself intentionally, he did not pay attention towards the music, it always coming in his ears, but he's not listening intentionally, then he has passed his test. So nevertheless, knowledge is one thing and practicing is something else. For practicing the knowledge, one needs the control of the nafs. More a person is able to control his nafs, more he will be able to act on the knowledge. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Allah says those people who make efforts, who struggle in our path, our deen, we will guide them towards our path of deen. So the root of practicing the deen is fighting against the nafs and putting the knowledge before the nafs and not turning it the other way around, that we put the knowledge behind our back and we follow the nafs. Allah can give, Allah says, آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا. We had given our signs. So Allah says, we gave knowledge. How much knowledge Allah has given to him, how great alim he was. But still, Allah says, he came in the trick of shaitan, he was deceived and he fell for what shaitan put in his nafs, and he started to follow it. That was his downfall. Now, we got to save us from shaitan. Shaitan was a very great alim also. See again, and Allah commanded all the angels, and he was also with them to make sajda to Adam alayhi salam. All the angels, they made sajda. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. All the angels, they readily and made the sajda to Adam alayhi salam. But he did not make sajda. أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. So here again, he was a very knowledgeable person. But his downfall, he did not practice on the knowledge he had. He went against the command of Allah Ta'ala and became rejected. फिर जब उसने ख्वाहिश नफ्स का इत्तिबा किया और दुनिया की तरफ झुका और उसको आखिरत का बदल बनाने पर राजी हुआ, तो जो कुछ उसको अता हुआ था वो छीन गया. So regarding this person, that Allah has blessed him the knowledge, but he felt was the desire of the nafs, that he started to follow the desire. I've said we can't stop the desires coming in the heart, but to practice upon it or not, that is in our control. Our duty, our responsibility is not to, for example, got a TV in the home, or even more, smartphone. In a few minutes you'll have your smartphone with you. So what will the nafs say? Go on this, listen to this, look at this. So you can't stop that thought. But if you fall for it, and you start to look at this and this and this and this, you lost out. And you manage to control yourself, you use it only for your necessity and need. You don't go on the wrong things, you passed our test. So this is the principle. We can't stop evil thoughts coming in our mind, desires coming in our mind. One should not worry about that, but he should not practice upon it. He should not follow it, he'll stay safe. This applies in everything. I'm just giving simple examples. It applies in everything. But usually we don't understand this, we don't realize. And whatever comes in our heart, without thinking, we start to follow it. We start to do what the thought comes, and that makes person commit the sin, and he shirks away the knowledge he has, and he follows the desire. और दुनिया की तरफ झुका, he turned towards the world and worldly passions and lust and desire, और उसको आखिरत का बदल बनाने पर राजी हुआ. So he picked the world in place of the hereafter. The purpose of knowledge, we practice upon it, and we give priority to the hereafter over dunya, not the other way, that we give priority to dunya over deen and lose out in the hereafter. और कौन है जो दुनिया की तरफ मैलान और ख्वाहिशात का इत्तिबा करने से महफूज है? By ourselves it is very, very difficult. As soon as you step outside madrasa, whole world opens up, and the heart is inclined towards it. In the same way the nafs is luring us, shaitan, he brings such a picture in front of us. So these three are our enemies: the society, the shaitan, and the nafs. All the time they try to mislead us and get us into trouble by committing sins. So just by ourselves, it is very, very difficult to control ourselves, especially when the person doesn't even have intention to control himself. He's plunging into it. How will he save himself? सिवाय उसके कि अल्लाह ही ने तक़वा देकर उसकी हिफाजत फरमाई हो. So accept that person to whom Allah gives taqwa, وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَنْ أَنَابَ. Allah gives hidayat to that person who turns towards Allah Ta'ala. The first step is from our side. Make intention to follow the commands of Allah Ta'ala, to stay on the Sharia, be obedient to Allah Ta'ala. First we make intention, then we make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Allah make me muttaqi, Allah keep me on the right line, Allah give me hidayat. And that is second. We make dua. And thirdly, practically, whatever evil thoughts or whatever occasion comes which is against Sharia, we control ourselves, not allow that act to happen. So these are three stages. First, we make sincere intention that I will not disobey Allah Ta'ala. I will be obedient to Allah Ta'ala. Second, we make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Ya Allah, save me from disobedience and make me obedient to you. And thirdly, when the occasion comes and the nafs is overpowering him, the shaitan is also giving him ideas, outside world is calling him, he controls his nafs and does not allow that to happen. And a person does this and he makes it habit, not just once or twice, he keeps doing it, inshallah ta'ala, he will acquire this status. but he does not realize and is plunging himself, then how he will be saved? और इल्म पर साबित कदम रखा. So Allah Ta'ala's tawfiq comes on our eagerness. More person is eager and more he wants to be on hidayat, more he wants to follow the deen, and once in these stages he practices upon them, inshallah ta'ala he will be given tawfiq. और अपने नफ्स के उयूब का बीना बनाया हूँ. Allah Ta'ala gives tawfiq to recognize usually person, I'm fine, there is nothing wrong with me, I'm perfect. But like a normal person, he thinks I'm fine, I'm well, there is no illness in me. He goes for a checkup, the chart comes out, then he realizes that this illness, same is here. Usually person thinks there is no fault in me, there is no weakness in me, there is nothing wrong with me. Except, but if Allah opens up upon him his weakness, his shortcomings, that is the name of Allah Ta'ala. Nevertheless, what he is trying to say, knowledge is something. Knowledge will show us the path. This is right, this is wrong. But to adopt it is our willpower. If you use our willpower for stopping our nafs from evil, then inshallah we'll be saved. So the knowledge, it shows the path. It won't stop the person. It won't force the person to do it. It will show him the path. Like our eyes, it will show us the door is over there. But the eyes will not force him to walk over there. That is upon himself. He can see the door, but if he wants to walk into the wall, the eyes won't stop him. Exactly in the same way, the ilm will tell him, this is right, this is wrong, this is beneficial, this is harmful. But it will not force him to act accordingly. That is with his own willpower. इमाम तिर्मिज़ी ने हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ियल्लाहु से रिवायत की है कि रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, जिस शख्स ने इस गलत से हासिल किया कि उलमा से मुनाजरा करे और जाहिल लोगों से झगड़े या उसके ज़रिए लोगों का रुख अपनी तरफ फेरे, तो अल्लाह ताला उसको दोज़ख में दाखिल फरमाएंगे. The wrong use of knowledge, and the consequence and the result of wrong use of knowledge is we have been warned. So knowledge is like a food. You can use the energy according to food. You can, after eating, mashallah, you're healthy, you can perform salah, you can keep fast, you can recite Quran Sharif, you can help someone. So these are the good use of food. And after eating, mashallah, your body becomes strong. You're fighting with someone, you punch someone, and you put him on the ground. That's a wrong use of the strength which came. You went to a wrong place, and the strength which came, and he went to the wrong place, committed adultery. So that is wrong use of the strength which he acquired by the food. Same with the knowledge. One can use the knowledge for good purpose, practicing, propagating. And it could be used for wrong purpose, as mentioned here. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the person who acquires knowledge with the intention that he debates with ulama and defeats them. So he becomes famous, he becomes well known. Oh, he's such a great alim, nobody can stand in front of him, nobody can debate with him. So with that purpose he acquires knowledge, he is making place in Jahannam, because that is not the purpose of knowledge, to debate with the ulama and defeat the ulama. And quarrel with the ignorant people, meaning put them in doubt. People who don't have knowledge, alim, he may put such a question in front of him, he becomes confused and he starts to become unsure about his deen. Or he uses his knowledge to turn people's attention towards him. He makes such a bayan that people admire him, and so that these are all wrong purpose of the knowledge. So Allah Ta'ala usko dozakh mein dakhil farmayenge. He will be entered into Jahannam because he is misusing the knowledge, he is using the knowledge for the purpose which is not for. So for students, he starts with the very beginning. You should look for a student, He tries, I become top in my class, I become well known in the whole madrasa, he's the most clever student, he's the most study-making student. So if that is the intention, also comes into this category. If you're still making takrar together, so he's making takrar and he stops it, why what you did, that is not right. The translation you made is not right. The matlab you have explained is not right. So it comes upon us also while we are students. And if it is a habit while he is a student, and he become alim, it will stay with him in outer world, he will debate with the other ulamas, and he will put the common people in confusion. And these are all wrong ways of using the method, of using the knowledge. और अबू दाऊद ने हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु से रिवायत की है कि फरमाया रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने, जिसने वो इल्म हासिल किया जिससे अल्लाह ताला की ज़ात मतलूब हुआ करती है, मगर उसका हासिल करना सिर्फ गरज से हो कि दुनिया का कोई मतलब पूरा करे, उसको क़यामत के दिन जन्नत की हवा भी नहीं लगेगी. Rasulullah said, the person who acquires the knowledge of deen, the purpose of that is to acquire pleasure of Allah Ta'ala, meaning he learns Quran Sharif, he becomes a good hafiz, he becomes a good qari, he becomes a good alim, and he goes making bayan to people, reciting qira'at to the people, but his purpose is to turn people's attention towards him, that people admire him, people praise him, people give him gifts, people call him to their homes. And so if that is the purpose of using the knowledge of deen for these purposes, then on the day of Qiyamah, never mind entering the Jannat, he will be kept so far from Jannat that the smell of Jannat will not come to him. He will be kept so far away. So he uses, and the indication of that is that he is not practicing on the knowledge. He is a hafiz, and he is a pakka hafiz, and he goes to perform tarawih, but his practical life is not according to that. And he is a good qari, he goes and he fixes 100-pound qira'at, 1,000-pound qira'at, so this also comes into it. The indication that his knowledge is not for sake of Allah Ta'ala, he is not practicing upon it. Because the purpose of knowledge is to practice, and he's not practicing upon it and using that knowledge for different means. It's a sign he's doing it for the acquiring the world. और ये इसलिए कि उसने अपने इल्म का मकसूद भी ज़ात दुनिया को करार दिया. And this he will get away from Jannat, that he used the knowledge to acquire the world. That is not the purpose of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to practice upon it and acquire Jannat and pleasure of Allah Ta'ala, not acquire recognition in people, admiration in people, acquire money from people. That is not the purpose of knowledge, Quran Sharif, Qira'at, and anything attached with the deen. बस वो उसको हासिल हो गया, he used the knowledge, Qira'at, hifz, to acquire world, he achieved it in this world, so there is no share for him in the hereafter. और आखिरत में उसका कोई हिस्सा बाकी नहीं रहा, because hereafter is person who practices with ikhlas, two conditions. He does good act with sincerity, then his reward will be in the hereafter. Yes, so we are all students of Deen, so it's a warning to us, and something from the very beginning to make ourselves understand why I am becoming Hafiz, why I am becoming Qari, why I am becoming Alim, what is the purpose behind it. Am I practicing upon it, or am I doing it to turn the world towards me? That should not be the purpose. Our purpose is to acquire pleasure of Allah Ta'ala by practicing upon that knowledge and teaching and propagating, to acquire pleasure of Allah Ta'ala, not to become famous amongst people and not to be admired by people. Allah give us tawfiq to acquire the knowledge with the correct intention, plus tawfiq to practice upon you.
Allah bihamdihi, subhanakallah bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.